All right. Welcome, everyone. Let's get everyone muted. I'm going to get in and mute everyone here and make sure that we don't have any of the background noise. But welcome, everyone, to class 4. And this is really exciting. This was the last of the classes that I officially had. We'll kind of talk tonight about, do you want to keep going, and is this something that is worth it for us to keep going live, or should I just record some things and keep it going that way? So we'll talk about that in just a moment. So let me share my screen. And I do apologize. I do have my doggy here, and I'm going to have to let him in a moment. He's outside barking because I'm sure there's a UPS truck that is absolutely destroying his world. So, and again, I forgot to pin me. So let me pin there we go. And now I can start. So we are, like I said, on the last class, and let's actually start for just a moment about how you're feeling now. But we're going to also take another little poll at the end. So let me launch the poll for you to be able to get in and do a little voting because I wanna understand. Do you want more? So go ahead and take the poll. So it should be on your screen. And what the questions are, because these don't show up in the recording. It just says, do you want more classes? And it says no. Maybe just record ahead of time for me to view later. And the other one is yes, absolutely continue live classes. And we just got 13 out of 13 for absolutely continue live classes. That makes me so happy. Oh, that makes me so happy. Well, 14 out of 14 now. Yay. Thank you guys. I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled. So let's go ahead and start, and we will keep going because it is important. One of the things that I know is critical for us is that you can understand the process along the way. And having been in this process for a while and understanding the incredibleness that it brings to you and the shifts that it brings and the abundance that it brings, I want to share. So just to kind of share the process, what we've been going through thus far, let's just do a little reminder. You started out just really figuring out what you want, and then you learned all about how important your imagination is, that your imagination is actually God creation. You are creating your reality when you imagine. And we're going to talk some about that in the class tonight. And then you learn to assume the feeling of it, what that really feels like. What does it feel like when you really actually have this? And then it's about catching old patterns and old beliefs that don't serve you anymore. Old patterns that say you're in lack, or old patterns that say you don't get this, or old belief systems that are like from an old system that just isn't serving you. Like you have to work really hard to get that money. That's the way it works. And it keeps you stuck in the war of work and debt. After you catch those patterns and beliefs, it's about shifting your behaviors internally, mostly, and externally. It's about shifting your identity. Do you identify as a person in lack, or do you identify as a beautiful soul who has a birthright to be abundant? And then after you put your wish out there, kind of like this woman in the screen, you put your wish out there, you rest and let it go. That's the process, but there are all kinds of phases that go on when you're doing this. The first phase is really about understanding how to catch your lack, how to really catch your self-image. What do I really project out into the world? And it is a phase of learning how to assume something that you've maybe never had. It is about rewiring your brain for abundance, rewiring. And then it becomes about becoming abundance, that it's just who you are. And then it's about letting your seeds blossom. And there is so much that you're going to hear tonight about the process of this. And what I'm going to be talking about tonight are all the different ways that you're going to know you're on the right track. Last time, We caught the things that keep you from being there, but now we're going to talk about all those things that are telling you you're on the right path. All right. Before we do, I want to just have us back up for a moment and really think about this world. This world, believe it or not, is like a great big biological computer. It is a living computer. It doesn't work any way different than a quantum computer, not the regular computers we're still using that have the binary code that is, input, output, input, output. It is a quantum computer, which are already being developed. And that is what our world is. What we feel and what we think is always communicating with all of the photons, which makes up everything in the world. It makes up you, little points of light that has consciousness. This computer that you're looking at or your iPhone is made up of little points of light that has consciousness. Your car is actually, there are many people who say your car is a reflection of you. It's going to function like you. Okay, so it is about saying you are actually influencing everything around you. The beautiful plants that you grow, they are a reflection of what you see and what you feel. The people around you, you are always programming your computer based on what you think and feel inside. Always. Your environment is a reflection of you. If it's chaotic, you got to look inside. There's something chaotic in you. You are creating it, right? So understand that you live in a computer. You are constantly programming. So the question is, how are you programming it? That's what this whole class has really been about. How are you programming the computer, and what is the computer giving back to you? I put this up every single time that we have class because I think it's so critical for you to really analyze. You are a piece of film, and there's a light behind you projecting you out into this world. That's how you're programming. Your little points of light are sprinkling out into this world, programming your computer. And who are you? What are you projecting, or what are you programming? What do others feel about you, and what do you feel about yourself when you're projecting into the world? This is so critical to always think about when you think about manifesting, which is why I bring it up every single time. And guys, remember this that I put up on the screen the very, very first time that we met? I said, this process will change you if you let it. It will change you. And it does change you. It is an incredible process. And what you're going to see today are all the phases of those changes. Everyone who listens to this, whether it's live tonight or whether it is listening to it later on, or whether you're re-listening to it, we're all going to be at very, very different places, all of us. Some of you in here are probably resisting change. Some of you maybe don't believe as strongly or have the faith that this can actually happen for you. Some of you may not have been willing to heal your inner child, your inner wounds, your inner selves, and you're resisting that. And that's okay. Everyone will go through these phases at their own time when they are ready. Some of you are running around with a little ego bully who beats the shit out of you. You can't do this. This isn't right. Let's distract you. Let's get you over here. Let's not have you bring in beauty. Some of you, your ego is doing a number on you. Let's keep you chattering so that we never get into a great place. Some of you have been changing. Some of you are already shifted, and the arrival of your dreams is very close at hand. And you can feel all of you are different. We're all at different phases based on how strong our ego is, based on whether we've done some inner healing, based on what we think about ourselves, what we believe, based on how strongly the programming that we have had over our lifetime to think that the only way you make money, the only way that you're healthy is if you take those meds, is if you get that job, is if you make that success. What kind of belief system were you indoctrinated in? What is your story? And that story is going to cause you to move through this fast or slow. And none of these phases are wrong. It's where you are. And the job of this class is to get you to move to the next phase. That's it. So I want to talk tonight about the signs that your shift is truly happening inside. How do you know it's really happening? You've been at this for 4 weeks, five weeks. So what's going on? The first thing I want you to think about is this phase, this understanding. You no longer react like you used to. It's a huge sign that something has changed. When you look at your current circumstances of health or love or relationships or money or success or career, whatever it is that you're manifesting, you don't panic with those circumstances anymore. It's kind of like, yeah, it's still here, but it's not going to be for long. You don't collapse inwardly when the shift isn't like in front of you and obvious. You're not living in fear anymore. You're just not there. And what happens is that there's this quiet knowing inside that this is going to become exactly what you want. And that replaces the fear. Your body inside of you, it has to feel safe in order to receive. So when you are not reacting like you used to, you're reacting in a place inside of you that feels safe to be here. My circumstances maybe haven't changed yet, but I have. And I know that it's okay. My body somehow all of a sudden feels safe to be in this weird situation where I don't see what I want yet, but I know it's here. When you all of a sudden realize that this is you being tested, and it's not a test you can fail. It's saying, will you, in the face of things not changing, in the face of not having proof, will you remain faithful? Do you really want this? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want what you're asking for? Do you really believe you get to have it? It's a little test to really ask, like, yeah, do you want this? Are you willing to make some changes? Are you willing to see your beauty? Are you willing to tame the ego? Are you willing to shut the F up in your brain? Are you willing? The next thing that you're going to notice when you get into this beautiful shifting is that your desires have started to refine themselves. I don't know anyone who has been in a place where they have shifted internally and haven't had their desires refined. And what I mean is that you don't just want this little bit. Now you want the whole enchilada. You don't just want to say, well, I can get by if I have $25,000. If I could just get the $25,000, I could pay off that credit card and I can move to the next level. And all of a sudden inside of you, you're like, no, no, I don't want to settle for a little bit. I don't want to settle for a little bit better. I don't, no, I don't see quick wins as sustainable. I just don't see that. That's not, no. I don't know why that's on there. There we go. The other thing that happens is that you start to realize that you're worth more. I don't want to just be out of pain. I want to stop this disease. I don't want my hearing to get better. I want it to be beautiful. I don't want to just get by financially. I want to thrive. I am not going to limit myself. I said this last class and I'll say it again. The big world computer doesn't know the difference between 100 pennies and $100 million. And it isn't about being like, well, then I'm just going to get the big thing. It's about why do you want it? What do you want and why do you want it? Why is this important to you? What do you really need? What do you really want? It is about understanding that your desires have refined. And then when you get in this really great place, what happens is this, and I'm sure you've seen it. All of a sudden, old patterns show themselves. All of a sudden, the shit crops up. Your old patterning, your old financial situation, your old health situation, your old lack of love, your old lack of insecurity, your old lack of self-doubt, your old lack shows up. It resurfaces. Oh my God, how many of you have found it? Like, what the F is this doing here? I've been doing all this manifesting, Kelly Schwegel. This isn't working. This just showed up. Well, yeah, it shows up when you're at an actual place of growth. When you are at a place of growth, you know you're on your path when it resurfaces because it resurfaces to show you what you no longer want in your life. It's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to make you uncomfortable with you. It's going to resurface because when you see it, you can't unsee the old you. You can't unsee your old patterns, your old stories, your old negativity, your old lack, your old loneliness, your old health issues. And you realize at that moment, it no longer fits with who you have become. That's not who I am anymore. What is this doing here? Guys, it's not regression, it's release. You have to have it resurface for you to see, oh, hell no. This doesn't come on this journey with me. No, 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 no. That has got to go. And you might get a healing session. You might call a friend. You might just sit in meditation and say, no, I'm going to have to let my dog in. Excuse me. He is at the door. So you let it go. Sorry, he wanted to go out too. Okay. I want to talk about brain waves for just a moment. Oh, that's a terribly blurry image. I'm sorry about that. In the human brainwave, there's this saying, we've all heard it, that it gets darkest before the dawn, or there's chaos before the quiet. Well, even in the human brainwave, what happens is when you're in heightened awareness, you're in gamma and it's really like excited. And then when you're problem solving, you're in beta and it's kind of, it's a little bit more quiet, but it's still very active. And then when you're in relaxed reflection, you're in alpha waves and they're like, ooh, I love this. Okay. And then when you're in theta, you're like meditative or creative or channeling or those things. And then there's a phase between theta and delta. Delta is like deep sleep, right? You're really, really shut down. Like you're like in pure like relaxation. You're deep sleep. But what happens right before that? REM, your eyes dart. Your brain actually gets like kind of chaotic. Okay. And then all of a sudden, after all the chaos and the REM and the movements, and they actually show there is a pattern right before this in the brain that is in between theta and delta, and it goes, it's bigger than gamma. And then it goes, that is this whole thing. There are moments before the shift that all of a sudden are chaotic, and then all of a sudden you get everything uneventful, everything calm, and everything trusting. And that you that came in this old pattern showing themselves showed up so that you can really analyze where you're going and who you are becoming. This, guys, is the moment where most people give up. Do not give up. Allow yourself to continue to transform. Allow yourself to continue to shift, to grow, to really analyze who am I? Who have I become? What is it that I really think I want? And do I believe I can have it? And when that answer comes back, yeah, I do get this. You know that you're on the right track. And if you get to that place where you say, I don't know if I think I'm worthy of this, I don't know that I think I can, I don't know that I believe this, then there's some healing inside that needs to happen. And that's the perfect space for you to be. Get the healing. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. When you're in this process, it is about keeping your vision of who you want to be and what you want to manifest in your sight. And I will tell you that some things are going to come in very quickly and other things will take a long time. I remember when I was in, I would say maybe my early 40s, I saw this image of me now. I didn't believe I'd ever be here. I didn't believe I would be here. I didn't believe I could feel like that. I didn't believe that I would have that wisdom. I didn't believe that I would be that calm. And I am her now. I saw that, but I never gave up on her. I knew that eventually I would become her through all the chaos. That was a long period of time. However, there are things that happen very quickly for me, like being in Belize and saying, I'm going to manifest a place to live. I like it here, but I don't want a contract. Nah. And I don't want to have a big lease. I just want a month to month. And yeah, I don't want to pay a lot. And I want to be on the ocean, right on the ocean. And the next day in sutras for yoga, I'm sitting with this couple and they're like, we really like you. His wife had Alzheimer's and he's like, the man said, my wife doesn't like any women. She loves you. We have an apartment under our house. Have you found a place? No, I haven't. Would you like to live there? It's a two-bedroom apartment. No one's in it. Yeah, yeah. What do you want for rent? No, no, no. Just give us some sessions here and there. So I lived in Belize for free, getting exactly what I wanted. No contract, month to month. I didn't pay anything. I was on the ocean. It was gorgeous. I was up the road from the yoga studio. Oh, up the trail. I walked on the ocean. You guys, we are going to get things that are manifest very quickly and things that are going to take years. Okay, but don't ever give up. You have to know that what you see in your brain, if you keep believing in it, will happen. It will happen. It can't not. Now, here's another phase that you're going to go through. Your intuition is going to sharpen, and your wisdom is going to be winning over the ego. Whether you like it or not, your mind's going to start quieting. Your mind is not going to be available for the old drama. Yeah, it's just not going to be available. And when people start talking about shallowness, or I call it surface dwelling, you're like dwelling on the surface, not talking about anything deep, you're going to be like, yeah, I don't judge you for it, but I can't be here. It's just not me. Certain people and environments are no longer going to align with who you are. And you don't judge it. You're like, you are who you are. I just can't be there with you anymore. It's not my place. Because when you get into understanding this beautiful being that you are, that you have the power to change your health, you have the power to change and find the love that you want. When you realize that you have the power to manifest money in a different way, you realize that's because you are a beautiful God being, a beautiful love being, a beautiful being of source. And that is not going to align with people who are not there with you. You're going to be less impressed by a shallow noise, surface appearances. You're going to be deep in your thoughts and deep in your feelings, and you're going to manifest those to come around you who are also deep in their thoughts and deep in their feelings with you, because you can't live on the surface anymore. the next thing you're going to notice, and this is a really interesting one, you're tired. You're tired. But you know what? The interesting thing is, you're tired, but you're not exhausted. And that's really cool. And the reason that you're tired, like you start to move a little bit slower for a while, is not because you're exhausted, it's because you're shedding your old skin and you're shedding your old identity that doesn't serve you anymore. You're metabolically changing internally. You're stepping into a higher vibrating you. And you know what, guys? That takes time to adjust into it. It takes time. Your body is changing and you need to rest and you need to integrate. You might find that you need more walks. You might find you need a little more time off of work. You may find that you don't want to go and be as social. You might find that you just want to be quiet. You might find you want to hike if you're warmer than we are here in butt cold Wisconsin. You might find that. And the reason being is that again, you're shedding your old skin. Guys, when a snake, which is the year of the snake that we're leaving, but when a snake actually sheds its skin, it's exhausted. It doesn't do anything. It just sheds its skin and it rests as everything integrates, as it creates its skin again, as it moves into hardening of the skin that was underneath that old layer. You will do this too. And so if you suddenly find yourself just tired or finding yourself like, I don't want to date right now, I don't want to go and be social, I don't want to drink, I don't want to go and do those things, there's nothing wrong with you. You're changing and it's good. It's good. Calm and consistency is going to call you. You're going to find you're no longer pushing the manifesting, you're no longer forcing it. You're going to find that prayers sound different for you. It isn't a prayer of what you're looking for. It's just a prayer of gratitude and joy and thanks for letting me be alive and thanks for letting me manifest what I want to manifest. It's in a you're in a place where prayer is allow me to align with you. Allow me to show up in this world as the God energy I am. You're no longer trying and trying to manifest. God, I've been working so hard at this manifesting shit. You're no longer trying and trying. You're just in this calm. You also stop distracting yourself. You stop numbing yourself. You're feeling like things are just a little more effortless. You're not as intense. I remember at the beginning of my manifesting when I realized that I was this beautiful God being. I got this really big high. And I was on this high of this beautiful being I knew I was. And I was like, wow, it was so intense and it was so amazing. And I kept trying to re-look for that high. And it was actually when I moved into the calm and I wasn't looking for the high that I knew that that being actually integrated with who I was. It's not intense. You're not chasing those emotional highs anymore. Inside of you, you start building these stable habits, these stable beliefs, and this stable identity. Let me explain. The stable habits might be not distracting, meditating more, getting quiet more, better self-care, eating healthier, not doing anything that's negative. Your speech might change. Your stable beliefs will be things like, I already know that this is happening. I don't know how, and Kelly said to fuck how, so I fuck how, but I know it's happening. I know I know that I do get to have this. I do know that I have a birthright for this. And then you get into a stable identity. And in that identity, it's not an identity based on how other people see you. It's an identity based on how you see yourself. Do you see yourself as beautiful? Do you see yourself as the queen, the king, the high priestess? Do you see yourself as beauty, as radiant light, as someone who went through a whole lot of shit, did a bunch of shitty things in his or her life, and learned from them, and now gets to move into his or her wisdom? Did that happen? That's a stable identity. That identity is the truth. We go through pain, we do stupid things, and then we grow. Yeah. We don't have to beat ourselves up. We don't have to feel less than. And when we need help moving through the less than feeling, we find it. When all of that happens, you just start riding the wave of change. The wave of change, I always kind of joke around that it's kind of like purgatory. Purgatory is in between heaven and hell. Okay, it's like that place, like after you die and you didn't quite go over into this, like you're not staying in heaven, you're going to reincarnate again, but you're kind of in purgatory. It's not really a bad place, it's just in between. You are in between a space of crossing from the old you to the new you. You're in a space of preparing for change. And the only thing you can do is ride the wave of all these changes. I've already listed a ton of them, and we're not done yet. We have more changes that are coming. Shh, 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 shh. Sorry. So we get into this, but hey, we get into this place. Okay, I may have to move. Very sorry. Again, I don't know if you were here earlier when I was saying sometimes that UPS truck is really, it is a beast. The UPS truck, we cannot have it. So apparently the devil's at our door. So we're going to talk about, again, moving into this place where you're going to ride a wave of change. There's something inside of you that really gets into a place of knowing. Internally, you know you will never be the same again. You will never be the same again. You know that something inside of you has shifted. And it's really interesting how shortcuts no longer impress you. Like winning a sudden lottery. I mean, that might happen. That might be where your abundance comes from. That might happen, but you're not interested in like, let me just get this one little thing right now so that I can move, so that I can get this thing. It's not the thing anymore. They don't really impress you. You're kind of like, no, you know what? I'm in this for the long haul. I'm in this for something bigger. Fly by night change isn't wise. It's not sustainable. There's always going to be something after it. Your inner wisdom is growing and shining through you. And that's that space where I will never be the same again. Your inner conversations are changing. I am worth it. I am beautiful. You are creating something big. I'm just going to mute myself for a moment. Okay. You know inside of you, you are creating something big. That big, guys, sometimes the bigger it is that you're creating, Sometimes you have a lot to shift in here, and that takes time. But do you want the shortcut or do you want the long, sustainable you? And trust me, the short term manifesting will happen. I'm going to use an example of someone who's in this class right now. She was closing on a house. She had $10,000 for closing, and she quickly manifested winning $10,000 exactly. In this class, she did it. Does she have a bigger long term? Yes, she does. Okay. But it is about you might still get the short term, but it is about realizing that there's something so much more, so much more. And you don't give up on that big. You also will get into a phase or a place where you feel less interested in convincing others about what you're doing. You don't feel a need to try to convince anyone that this is real. You don't need to announce what you're doing. You just want to let the quiet change that's happening in you happen within. And in that space, you allow your humility to show. I had a client and somebody said to them, "Yeah, but you're poor." And she was like, "Whoa, whoa, okay. Okay." Inside, she said that, and she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's your opinion. You can have that, but I'd like you to maybe change that because I don't feel that about myself. So please, if we can just maybe change that." "Oh, okay." You allow your humility to show. You don't get upset about things like that. You're like, you know what? They don't know. They don't know what I'm doing. They are in the world of work and debt. Or maybe they're a baby or infant soul and their life purpose is to have things handed to them because they're not ready for a challenge yet. Okay. You get into a place where you no longer need outside validation for what you're doing. You don't need the outside proof because inside of you, you already know. This inside you already knows. It already knows. It knows that everything is coming exactly as you want it. You also don't have to convince yourself anymore. And that's even bigger than convincing anyone outside of you. You don't have to convince yourself that you can heal your physical body, that you can bring in the love that you want, that you can have the job and the money that you want. Yeah. And you're not in a place of beating yourself up any longer. If you show up shitty, if you show up negative, if you show up victim, if you show up complaining, you just catch it. You go, "Oh, oops. There's my human me showing up there. Okay. I already know I am shifting. I already know I am changing." With that comes this sudden sense of peace. You're no longer fighting. You're no longer chanting mantras every day. You're not really doing anything. You're just kind of in peace and you become very patient. The faith that it's already here has settled into your body. And you realize that order is happening behind the scenes. I don't need to try to orchestrate it. I don't need to manifest more. I need to sit in my beauty. I need to sit in my beauty. I need to be quiet. I need to listen internally. I need to let my wisdom show. I need to let my kindness play the biggest role in my life, not at my expense, but it shows more to me than anything. There's a shift. The faith that you get to have what you want is settling into your body. And I will tell you, there are so many levels to this peace, this feeling of sudden peace. You're going to know inside of you when the shift has really taken effect by all these things that I'm telling you. And they will all come in at different phases and different times and they'll kind of creep in and you're like, "Whoa, I'm thinking differently. Whoa, that has shifted. Every day, something new will come in. And all of these little signs that I'm telling you that you're on the right path, these will all come in at different phases and at different times. And then the ego panics because you're there. Because you're finally getting what you want, because you finally moved into understanding. And then all of a sudden it comes in and it punches you in the face and it goes, oh, shit. What if this really doesn't happen? Oh my God. Oh my God. What if this is all bullshit? What if everything just stays the same? Oh my God. What if nothing changes? What if nothing changes? That's the ego. And when the ego pops in like that, you got to know you're on the right track. Yeah. When it panics, this is your time to stay the course. Stay the course. Your old idea identity, what's happening here is when the panic all of a sudden resurfaces again, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Am I crazy? Was I believing some bullshit that isn't even true? When that happens, that is your ego realizes it's going to die. It realizes game over, sucker, because you're not in charge anymore. My wisdom is, my higher self is. Do not at that moment negotiate or try to convince the ego that everything is real. Return to your trust. Return to your stillness. Return to your God self. Return to your birthright for that you get to be abundant in health, wealth, love. Return to your inner knowing that you're on the right path. Remain faithful to the shift. If you need to at this time, even go back to the two chairs. Go back to your place of reigniting your manifesting if you need to. Or if you're able to, just sit in your knowing. I've got this. The law of attraction, or I'm sorry, the law of manifesting does not happen with urgency. It just doesn't. If you're like, but I need it to happen, what if it doesn't happen? Okay. It's normal. That's a normal phase. It's going to happen. You're going to suddenly panic. But then your job is to stay the course, knowing that the manifestation does not happen with urgency. What you realize is that prosperity is not coming because you want it enough. Okay? You realize that there's nothing that can knock you down because this manifesting is here because you have changed. You. It's not that you put a wish out there and you're doing the secret. Okay? It's not because you created a vision board and you put it out there. Some of that might come true. The secret actually is effective, but not at this level. You realize that prosperity or abundance of health, wealth, love is coming because you changed and you must change. You must. Because if you stay the old you and you keep with the old patterns, there is nothing that will change. You're still the same. The change has to come through you. And the bigger the change, guys, the more radically you're probably going to change. The truth, though, is that nothing really changed, but everything has changed. What happened is that you're still living your life. You're still a soul having a human experience. You still have the same families, might have the same job. You might be in the same circumstance right now, but you have restructured internally. The prosperity, nothing, it's going to be there because nothing can knock you down. Stay the course. Nothing can knock you off your understanding. And if you don't, for some reason, believe that all of this is true, listen, Listen to the wisdom of the ages. Do you know how many people have been talking about this for thousands of years? Thousands. This isn't new. And it is those who are at a place inside of them that they are willing to look inside. They're willing to change. They're willing to see something bigger than the outside world that says it's a war of work and debt. You must do this to bring in money. This is how the world works. That that is the mentality of an infant soul. If you're here, guys, you're not an infant soul. You're just not. Okay, you're an older soul. And older souls get to manifest in a different way because we're ready for it. You're ready to restructure away from the ego that tells you that you have to live life according to rules that aren't yours. I'm going to speak really briefly about light workers. Light workers, those who do work in the healing arts or intuitive world or things like that. You specifically, there isn't a lot of security. You don't get a pension for what you do. You don't get insurance. You don't get anything like that for what you do. And you do important work. You're holistic healers. You're bringing change to the world. And yet we're trying to bring that change to the world through a system that is built by the infant souls. And for some reason, light workers believe that they have to live by the rules of the infant soul, but that's not the truth. Your gift of intuition, holistic healing, medical intuiting, animal communication, healing, that gift is all you need. This is the method in which your money comes. Vying for a buck is not supposed to be your way. That was built for the baby, infant, and young souls. You are different. Just putting that out there. Guys, your mind in this experience is learning patience. Your nervous system is learning to trust and believe. Your spirit is learning non-reactive authority over your world. You have the power to shape your world. You do. Prosperity and abundance cannot enter a nervous system that is addicted to urgency. It needs to happen. No! That's lack. Prosperity and abundance does not enter that. I need to be healthy. I can't take this pain one more day. It doesn't change. Let your mind learn patience. Let your nervous system move into trust within yourself that you know what you're doing. Trust that the world is supporting you. It can't not. It's a big world computer. Trust that your spirit is learning non-reactive authority. I think I will do this never again at home. I'm really sorry, everyone. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay. So what happens then is that you become less afraid at this phase to sit in your own silence. You're willing to be present with yourself. You're willing to be in the now, right here, right now. You're not distracting. You can sit in the silence and see the true signs of you. Your calm, your discomfort with old patterns, your refusal to go backwards, that you are God energy. You become less afraid. to sit in a silence. Because in that silence is where you're going to find everything that's manifesting, everything, and you're not afraid of it anymore. Why? And you ask yourself questions. Why? Why am I in lack? Why am I in pain? Why am I alone? Why am I sick? And then your perspective, you realize, has shifted. Ideas about who you want to become or how you want to live your life start to come in very gently. And clarity feels very calm. You get this calm clarity about you. The guidance that you get on how to live your life or what to do or where to live feels very obvious. These old bad habits that you have, they just dissolve. Unaligned relationships just drift, they drift away. Old desires that don't align with the authentic you just fall away. Your perspective has shifted, and that's huge. Guys, many can manifest little things, quick fixes, but few can sustain prosperity consciousness. Whether you stay the course or don't stay the course will determine whether you find your true prosperity consciousness. And it is never going to be found outside of you. Quick fixes are not going to help. They'll help for the moment, but not in long term. So I want to ask you now how you're feeling. So we have another poll. So I'm going to give you a poll. So let me get out of this. Tell me that wasn't sharing the entire time. I'm so sorry if it was. Let me get you a new one up here. So this poll that I'm giving you right now is about how are you feeling? Are you feeling like you need to rewatch classes 1 through 3? Are you like, man, holy shit? Are you feeling like, I'm on my way? Are you feeling encouraged? Are you feeling, you know what, I've got this? Or maybe you're feeling stuck or frustrated. Maybe you don't know. I'm just trying to let this all sink in. How are you feeling? And I have to say that of those who have voted so far, we have the only ones that are there are I'm on my way, encouraged, or I've got this. So I'm going to give it a minute and let people vote. Most people feel encouraged. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And that's what we want to keep going for you. So, ready to end the poll? And let me share the results. So, you can see most people feel encouraged. I love that no one was like, I'm totally stuck. I'm really frustrated. I don't even know how I'm feeling. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. So I am going to stop the share and stop my share. And I'm going to allow you to open up to questions, thoughts, comments. How are you feeling? Go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm going to stop pinning myself and get into more of a gallery view. How you doing? How did this sit with you today?
I'm wondering how to navigate manifestation. I know like, how to do it solo on your own, but like how do you navigate it when you have a partner? And how do you like communicate and change and all that good stuff when there's another person in your life's picture?
Yep, I'm glad that you asked that. And there's something really important that you have to do, which is separate your energy from that person. Even though you are creating things together, you have to really separate your energy and realize that that person can come along for my ride or not. Because if they're not in a place to manifest, you can't drag them with you. So I want you to do a cord cutting. And I want you to understand that what you are creating for you. They might benefit from it, okay? But you can't attach yours together. You can't. It's a very dangerous cycle I've watched happen with couples. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And Clarissa, are you still here? And how is your... Oh, I don't think she's here. I was just going to ask her to talk about her work. So I'll ask her to post something on our Facebook page. Clarissa gives readings. She gives really beautiful, intuitive readings. So that might be something if you feel like you're stuck, it's another person who you might be able to tap into for a reading. Okay. Any other thoughts? We are
Am
at
I
the...
am
Mhm.
am I unmuted?
No, you're speaking. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi. um, I had a healing with Rebecca a couple nights ago, and it was amazing. And I have a healing with Clarissa on Monday because she does. I mean, I've had a few with her. She does also the cards. You know, the deck of cards, like for your life. Anyway,
Yes, yes, yeah.
um,
Exit playing cards. They're amazing. Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. So her and I are gonna get together. But what I was gonna say is yesterday I had to lay down. I was so tired. Just at like 3:30 in the afternoon. I was like, I'm gonna get going, or 3 o'clock. I was like, I have to lay down. I don't know what it was. And so I've had a few of those spouts lately of just feeling exhausted. And then once I lay down and rest a little while, I get up and everything's fine.
That's that metabolical changing. You're changing neural programming. You're changing who you believe yourself to be. You're changing your frequency, and that is going to exhaust you. So when you feel that, I'm glad you're laying down and resting because it's huge.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone else before we go?
Um, I wanted to say something as well.
Please.
So, I think, sorry if you hear my daughter crying. I think she just dropped her water bottle on her foot. Um, so I think that I just wanted to make a comment. I think that the reason that I'm in the place that I am today and the manifesting is like actually working for me at this point is because of my first session that I had with you, Kelly. You expressed that in order for everything in my life to fall into place, it all has to come from a place of self-love. And that's something that you stress often in your transition time videos and your, in most of your videos, you really focus on like, hey, love yourself first and the rest will fall into place. So after our first session together, which was, I don't know, maybe a year ago ish, something like that. So
Yeah.
I would say for this last year, I, especially right after that session, I really checked in with myself often to say, like, am I speaking to myself kindly? Am I showing myself love? This situation is making me feel shame or guilt or whatever. Like, where does that stem from? So it's been like a year of really digging into that self love thing for me. And just taking every opportunity that I can to be like, you know what, Jamie, like you're an awesome person. I love you so much. Like I love how you interact with people. I love this, and this about you. Like really just putting a lot of energy into that self-love. And I think that it's because of that that I'm in a place now where I am actively manifesting things. And I mean, sky is the limit for me right now, and I'm so grateful to be in this place. But I was trying to break it down, and it didn't just happen overnight. I would say since starting this class with you, um, it's helped me. I think the biggest takeaway for me is to notice when I'm thinking in lack And that's been very, very eye-opening for me. So I'm not doing that anymore in just a short 5 week time. So I just wanted to mention that for everybody else that like, it starts with the self-love and really digging into that. And then, things just kind of unfold. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that because it couldn't be any more the truth. And that I think is the biggest transformation that we find here. Like in doing this type of a class is realizing that it's all you. It's you. Do you love you? Do you value you? And do you deserve amazingness? Hell yes. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else before we go? You guys have a beautiful, beautiful week. I will set something up for next week. Ciao, everyone.
Thank you.